I hope in my future.
My dream is to have...
I have hopes and dreams.
I hope that my children...
I was a prisoner in my own home. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go out. I was really depressed. We're not on income support anymore. He works and we're on tax credits and we're still struggling. We're still in the same rut as paying all my bills. And there's 2 of us now and the 2 children. I prioritise my bills, but the pressure is a nightmare because they come every single week. It doesn't stop. I couldn't spend nothing on myself. It had to be on bills and food, nappies, wipes, clothes for the baby. And I was left with nothing, no social life, nothing. My daughter had a trip to the museum, but she couldn't go because it was either food in our bellies or her go on a trip.
I wake up every other Thursday to collect my job seekers allowance. I get £95 a fortnight. I put it in 3 separate piles: my rent, my food, my gas and electricity. I basically live off £20 a fortnight.
When I was first pregnant, I was 17. Like when you're 17, you're not eligible for any job seekers allowance or anything like that. And it was only because I had a partner that I could get income support, because he was over 18 and I was under 18, but I was 17. I could get that. Otherwise, I don't know what I'd done for money, because I was in college at the time as well, and I was homeless.
Usually when I first get my benefits, I check if I got the full amount and sit down and make sure it lasts, try and make it last over the 2 weeks.
I left school when I was 16, and then I went on to college to do childcare. In that time I met my partner, and then I got pregnant, so I had to leave college. While I was pregnant, I was on job seekers allowance, and then when I had my daughter, I was on income support and child tax credit.
I moved in with my dad. I turned 16, I got a job in a factory. It was £2.20 an hour, something like that. And I only had to pay my dad £20 a week. It was great, I had loads of money. Went out shopping, spent it all on myself. And then I fell pregnant. And I had a house 2 weeks before I had Josh. And I was on £30 a week off benefits. And when I had my house, it was a nightmare.
I was an ex-foster child, which meant that I was in care for most of my life. In foster care, you get so much for clothes and so much for pocket money and that. Whereas if you're on job seekers allowance, you don't get any of that. You have to spend it on certain things, which is really, really difficult.
2 weeks after I had my house, my son was born. I was still on £30 a week, paying my bills and having to buy nappies. I couldn't afford to buy certain things, so it meant I had to eat whatever was cheapest instead of being normal and eating nice stuff and healthy stuff, because you can't afford healthy stuff.
Well, I have £95 from the job centre, and I have to budget for my rent, my bills and my food. And sometimes I go without food because other things cost too much more than what I expected. But
My bills, my electric, my gas, and then food, then whatever the kids need, and then usually it's all gone anyway. But if there is anything else, I'm trying to save up at the moment to buy a new telly, because the kids have broke my telly in there. But that's dead hard, trying to save up, you know what I mean? To buy a telly, I've got 150. It's gonna take me a year to get enough for 150. Oh no.
The main things I go for is shopping, gas, electric, and cat food mainly for the cats, so that's where all my money goes.
We're not on any benefits anymore, but now there's new problems, new pressures, because it's all our bills are really high and we don't get no help with any, so it's really hard.
Having all these bills and buying stuff for my son was constant. I never had no social life. I had not many friends left because they were going out and I couldn't. I had to stay in because I couldn't afford to go out. So I was isolated in my own home.
I get paid weekly, so whenever I get paid on a Wednesday, by the following Monday, most of it's gone, and then you worry and hoping that your electric or your gas doesn't go, because then if you've got no money, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have to go and ask someone to borrow it, or you're gonna have to sit in the dark with a candle, or just put a coat on instead of having the heating on.
I usually go without gas. Electric sometimes I have gone without, so that's mainly the stuff I do without.
Sometimes, like, going out for a walk even costs money because you've got to meet up with your friends, which you've got to catch a public transport bus to go and meet them, which all costs money, and you haven't got the money to go out. It is quite impossible to meet up and socialise with friends like that.
It's not enough money. It's definitely not enough money for people on, like you say, like single people on benefits. It really isn't. Like, I get more money because of the kids, but if I didn't get that money, that extra bit of money, I wouldn't be able to support myself.
If I got a job, I'd have to pay for childcare. That cost me too much, so I couldn't afford to go back to work because I had my son to think about.
I do want to go to university, maybe not now, but maybe sometime in the future, but I don't know how I would do that with managing childcare and all the other issues that come into it, like the income that we'd be on and all the barriers that get in the way and they stop us from doing things. I can't see myself doing it at this present time.
It's that I really want to work, but if I take a part-time job, I'm worse off than what I already am. So it's really difficult. It's just a no-win situation.
It's for me, I want to go to work, I want to pay my taxes, I want to be a dolly for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? But with the kids and that, being a single mum and on my own, it's just difficult with them being so young.
Sometimes my friends text me to go out with like them, to go out clubbing, drinking, but I can't afford to text them back all the time. But when I've got credit, I'll text them back saying that I can't go because of money.
It happens in 1 in 3 families in the UK. I think it's wrong. We're one of the richest countries in the world, and for the population and everything, I don't think that it should be happening in our society, really, in this country.
I hope in my future I'll have a job. The children will have everything they need. They could go on holiday and I could just go out and buy them things, not having to think about, oh no, I've got to buy food. You can't have new shoes because we can't afford them.
My dream is to have a mortgage, have a car, and just not to have to worry about anything, to everything be perfect. Whatever perfect is.
I have hopes and dreams to start up my own business, being a mechanic, but hopes I would have enough money to keep it going, but you don't know at this day and age how it goes.
I hope that my children grow up not having to live off benefits, not having to worry not having to struggle worrying about money and affording things for their children. I want them to just have a normal life, really, not to be stressed and always prioritising money. I want them to just be able to think, yeah, the kids need that, I can just go and get it, instead of having to worry where the money's going to come from.
I'd like to see the future as colourful and bright. But the reality is, it's grey and it's like an untuned TV.